It's an exam results day like no other. Today, A-level and BTEC students have received their grades despite not sitting any exams. In England, results suggest a third of all pupils received a lower grade than their teachers predicted. For those disappointed with their initial results, they'll have the option to resit their exam later this year or take their predicted grade. Education Secretary Gavin Williamson has apologised to every child, saying no one wanted to cancel exams. They are the best and fairest form of assessment, but the disruption caused by COVID-19 meant they were not possible. Nadia, you think we should use this as an example to rethink the way we look at exams, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it's the fairest way, exams. I can understand why it's the easiest way for governments and I understand it's a very complicated thing, you know, running an education system. But I don't think it's necessarily fair. I think, you know, there's lots of kids who aren't very good in an exam situation. I think there are lots of kids that are incredibly smart and have incredible retentive memory who could, like, cram at the last minute and get a result. I think this could be a chance to have a radical blue sky thinking where we rethink the education system, where why can't they be marked, kids, through all their coursework, so that you've got a situation where kids are learning the whole time and not just getting to a point where you could just put down the answers to this set of questions and then you might forget it 2 minutes later. I mean, obviously, I'm very radical because my kids are homeschooled, and partly why my kids are homeschooled is that they are much more humanities-based, and they really are. That's their passion. And I think too often in school, everything is geared towards what is seen as the smartest are the ones that are good at maths and science, and I don't agree with that. I think that whatever you're good at should be held up as a great thing.
What were you good at school, Judy?
Well, as you can tell, drama. And I did get, I think, a C on, like, English literature. But I think, you know, especially with the whole predicted grades, conversations I've had with parents, some are really worried about whether teachers' bias is going to come in. You know, there's parents that feel like their teachers might not like their child, or there's children that are favoured in the classroom, and they're worried that this is going to show in the results that are predicted. You know, predicted is what people think someone can get, not actually what they're factually going to have. And it is concerning for quite a few parents and for some of the young children at the moment.
Kids, I mean, honestly.
I mean, Carol, the thing is, though, yes, we may talk about, you know, we talk about blue sky thinking and perhaps rethinking the way we look at the education system, but is that feasible? Do you think there's realistically any other way that we can do this?
I can't see another way, actually. I suppose, like Nadia says, over coursework over the year, because some people are better at passing exams. Some people are brilliant at passing exams while not learning anything at all. And I know quite a few people who are like that. But I just think it is the only way, but I think it's overdone. We just overdo it. They're tested from really young ages these days, and there's test after test after test. And in the end, when you have so many tests, they kind of become a little bit meaningless. So they have to mean more, like they did back in my day.
Yeah.
And it's very stressful for children. It's very stressful for children to be tested all the time, and I think they're tested the most in the world in this country. And I mean, Finland, they don't have standardised tests. They get tested once, right at the end of their education. They have a very successful education system.
Well, in terms of rethinking the way we look at education, and you brought up the subject in terms of teachers having favourites. I know there were teachers of mine that preferred me than others, let's say.
But your teachers met, Charlene.
Well, if I knew it was going to make my grade high, then yes. Carol, do you think it is possible for teachers to have favourites and, you know, give them a higher grade than others?
No, I honestly don't think that would happen. I'm not in here defending teachers very often, but I do think that people who go into that profession go in for the sake of the children and their education. And I was an absolute loser at school. I mean, seriously, I was the rebel.
I don't believe that.
Honestly, I was bored. I thought I knew everything and they couldn't teach me anything, and I was bored. I disrupted the class. And I tell you something, I was annoying and I did get thrown out of the classroom quite often, but my teachers never, ever gave up on me. They despaired, but they never gave up.
The thing is, I think teachers, you know, I love teachers who've done amazing throughout the time, especially in the pandemic, but I think that everyone is human, and unfortunately, in the kind of world that we live in, at times, some things can overshadow how a child works, you know, how that relationship is with that person. You might just give them a bit more favour than you would give anybody else. I think it's such a hard thing to do anyway, and that pressure to be put on head teachers anyway, but having all of those other things that adds to the dynamics of relationships, it's just a possibility. A few, one or two, might just end up giving a result to a child. Yeah, they're just human.
You're basically saying, Gavin Williamson said it this morning, said exactly that. You know, the teachers can't help favouring.
I'm going on the basis of what some parents, this is what some parents are worrying about. And at the end of the day, within the discussion, it's all about the different areas that people are concerned about. The young people are worried about their results. They're worried about missing out on their GCSEs, getting into a certain school. And some parents, unfortunately, are just maybe a little bit nervous that their child might not get the results that they expected. And some parents are fully supporting teachers for having to make such a strong decision.
True, and then we bring in a class issue, which I know we've spoken about, is that it's not just about the kinds of school you went to, can also be to do with class as well.
Yeah.
Class, yeah, and the streaming system. I mean, you know, my girls are very good in more arts-based, but like me, they're not terribly good at maths. I hope they don't mind me saying that. So they were put in that lower stream for the maths, you know, and every child knows that. And I remember my daughter saying to me once, "It's OK, Mum, I know I'm a failure. It's OK, I'm ready for it, for life." And I was just so shocked when she said this to me. And we were just, I mean, she's much older now, we were just talking about this recently, and she said it was because I was always in the lower stream for maths, so I knew that I was failing. Yeah. And there's got to be something wrong with that.
As a parent, that would absolutely break my heart.